Hello again, my name is Rodney Reynolds and welcome to another video review. Today I'm looking at the FIC AU13 motherboard. What is included in this package is a serial ATA cable as well as a serial ATA hard drive power cable, a regular ATA 133 cable, and the floppy cable. This right here is part of the audio system, and this will give you that center, base, and rear channels as well as a coaxial out and an optical out. Now these two right here, they're connections for both the FireWire and for the USB. It will give you two extra FireWire in this case and two extra USB 2 ports in this case. Both of these go plugged right into the motherboard. Now that'll give you a total of 6 USB 2 ports and 3 FireWire ports. Also included is an I/O shield plate, some software and drivers, a manual, and the motherboard. This motherboard is based upon the NVIDIA nForce2 chipset. Let me now just go through and detail some of the key aspects about this motherboard. Right here is where the CPU gets installed. You can install up to 3 gigabytes of DDR memory, and this board also supports dual channel memory. Right here are the two IDE controllers. The floppy controller is right here. This board also supports serial ATA. Those connections are down here. And it also has a RAID chip on there. You can do serial ATA RAID, and that chip is the Silicon Image 3112A. It has 6 PCI slots, one 8x AGP slot. And you'll also notice that there is heat sinks right here on both the north and the south bridge. That's good to keep the heat down. Also, there are 3 fan headers. There's one right here, one right here, and one right here. And the power connections for this motherboard, well, there's one right here and one right here. Right here are the 2 PS2 connections for the keyboard and the mouse, the COM ports, the parallel port, and you also have 4 onboard USB 2 ports, and there's 2 right here and 2 over here. There's also an onboard FireWire port right here and an onboard LAN, as well as 5.1 channel audio. Let's now have a look at the BIOS at some of the key features. First, I'll look at the advanced chipset features, and within here you have options to change the AGP aperture size, the AGP 8x support, as well as the AGP fast write capability. At the bottom here you have different options for the memory timings. You can do the presets, optimal, aggressive, turbo, or expert. Now if you select expert, you can manually adjust the timings. Within the integrated peripherals part of the BIOS is where you go to enable or disable support for all those onboard things that you have on this motherboard. For example, the onboard FireWire, the onboard audio, the onboard USB, and so on. And finally, the frequency voltage control. This part of the BIOS is a place that I like to be in because you can overclock your CPU very easily in here. Now, I'm just going to go through this from the top to the bottom. First of all, you have the system performance. You have a couple presets here. You can go optimal, aggressive, or turbo. Now if you select expert, you have all kinds of manual settings. For instance, you can change the CPU ratio or the multiplier, as well as the front side bus frequency. Now the front side bus frequency can go all the way up to 211 megahertz. You also have control here over the memory frequency. You can do a by SPD or an auto option, but you can also go in here and increase the memory by 200% if you want to. That's good if you have a low front side bus to start with. Now also here the AGP frequency, that's important to adjust because if you have a high front side bus, the AGP might be a little bit too high in that case, but this will give you a standard frequency and you can adjust it here as you can see. Also down here at the bottom you have the voltage settings. For the memory, that can go all the way up to 2.8 volts. For the video, it can go all the way up to 1.8, and for the CPU it can go all the way up to 1.925. The PC Mark 2002 results are: the CPU score is 6,376, the memory score is 5,590, and the hard drive score is 1,002. The SCI Software Sandra CPU result is 7,773. The SCI Software Sandra Multimedia result is 11,516. And finally, the memory result is 2,502. The 3D Mark 03 result is 4,776. These are the settings I used in the command sheet for demo. A screen resolution of 1280 by 1024. The bit depth is 32. I've checked Texture compression, as well as disabling the VSync and hardware shaders are checked. And the result is 48.69 frames per second. Within the XS mark, I've used all the default settings except for a screen resolution of 1280 by 1024 at 32-bit. And the result is 7,457. These are the settings I used for the Quake 3 Arena demo, a video mode of 1280 by 1024 at 32-bit. Geometric detail is at high, texture detail is at max, texture quality is 32-bit, and the texture filter is trilinear. And the result is 223.8 frames per second. The Unreal Tournament 2003 benchmark results are: the flyby is 169 and the bot match is 69. This motherboard really has it all. Onboard FireWire, onboard USB 2, onboard serial ATA, onboard serial ATA RAID, as well as having that AGP 8 times. It goes on and on and on. The good thing about this motherboard as well, it is very, very well priced. Bang for the buck on this motherboard is very high. One thing though that I would have liked to have seen is better overclocking results. I was able to get only 175 megahertz out of this motherboard, but again, consider what it offers and consider the price. Overall, this is a kick-ass product. Again, my name is Rodney Reynolds, and this has been another video review. Be sure to check back very soon. I will have a brand new one for you then. Also, pop into my website at www.3dgameman.com, and while you're there, you can go into the forums and register. And remember, registration is completely free. Until next time, take care.